What better day than this Monday, July 21st, to lay out some very bold predictions for the BYU football season? It just feels right, Dave.
It's a beautiful morning.
Come on.
It's summer. Summer's winding down, ready to surrender to football, so it feels like a bold day.
Training camp is right around the corner, and we're, like every fan base in America, feeling optimistic about the start of a new season. But how bold are Dave and I willing to be? How bold are you willing to be in some capacity? We'll get to that in a moment as it pertains to BYU football in 2025. So, Dave, together, let's lay out our 5 boldest predictions for BYU this season, starting with this. Whew, this is a doozy. BYU, whenever they name a starter, Dave, whoever that starter is, will be the only quarterback to start the entire season.
Dang. Like Jake did last year.
Yes.
Like Jaron did a couple years ago. Yeah, that doesn't happen very often. We don't know who it is, so that's bold, with a capital B.
Didn't happen with Keaton Slovis, who Jake Retzloff took over for in 2023.
No, it didn't. You know, Bourget, Hillstead, Bachmeier starting 12 games. That would mean we're having a really good season. That would mean that all the questions are being answered. And that would mean that they are avoiding all those blitzing linebackers who are going to come at them left and right. Yeah, that's bold. It doesn't happen very often. In fact, we put a list together of the last time that it's happened. And then you think, as you look at the list, you think it gets even bolder.
Yes. That
this would just be one guy to start every game. Look back there, you get Zach, Jaron, Jake. Okay, those are recents, right? And then you got to go to Taysom Hill.
4 times in 15 seasons.
Yeah.
Only 4 times in 15 seasons?
Well, that's why it's bold. And Aaron Roderick is looking at the show and looking at that list and listening to our bold thing going, that'd be awesome. I'll sign up.
Is it too spicy? Maybe.
Maybe. All right, here's bold.
Yeah.
Here's bold number 2.
Frankly, I mean, look, like just the idea of a brand new quarterback being good enough to start every 12 game, let alone stay healthy, Dave. So,
you know, yeah. That might be a little more feasible if we knew who was going to start on the 30th. But we don't. And so, yeah, we're going to watch this one. And in November, when we're talking about this, we're going to go, man, that was really bold.
Mark these down. July 21st for everybody behind the scenes. Our producer, Colton Potter, mark this down. We'll revisit the bold predictions.
So at home, as you're thinking about bold things, that took the lid off right out of the gate. Here's bold prediction number 2. BYU will be a top 25 team going into Big 12 play, which is the end of September at Colorado.
Okay. So a perfect non-conference obviously would be required for BYU to even sniff the top 25.
Right.
I think we're all wondering, how much will BYU drop in the typical voter's mind based on what has transpired in the offseason, headlined by Jake Retzloff leaving BYU and now BYU being in a situation where they need a brand new quarterback. How much does that impact a team and how many votes they will or will not get? I can't wait to see if BYU even gets votes, multiple votes, when that AP poll comes out, Dave.
Guys who know football will give them votes. I don't know if they get in the top 25, but are they top 30, top 35? And if so, and they win those first 3 games, then yeah, they're in the top 25.
Yes, so BYU has to be receiving votes, multiple.
And why wouldn't you receive votes if you return that defense, those special teams characters, and Chase Roberts, your All-American receiver, and a healthy running back, and a big offensive line? I mean, you should be in that mix. Those are all the qualities of what make a top 20 team.
Yeah.
And the quarterback thing is huge, obviously. And it's much bigger outside of Provo because you just think, oh, they lost their quarterback, then they're out. But these quarterbacks might not be so far from where Jake was to start. But we know that, and they don't. But they're the voters, and they'll decide where BYU sits.
Are we giving the voters so much credit that they will assess BYU fairly? I don't know. I'm looking at a guy like Phil Steele, who has BYU now with Jake Retzloff out in the 50s.
Yeah.
I mean, way outside of the top 25.
And a couple of ESPN guys had them down maybe 5 spots, maybe projected to win 1 less game by not having Jake. So there's some that are right there going, okay, that's not that big of a difference.
If BYU is receiving votes typically that means you're a top 40 to 45 type team. So if BYU is in that position and they win the 3 games like you talked about, Dave, then I think the voters would be like, okay, BYU is still good.
Yeah.
Even though the non-conference is not loaded. Look, Stanford, East Carolina, FCS, like no world beaters there. But if BYU can run through those rather unscathed, then I think voters would put BYU in the top 25 going into that Big 12 opener against Colorado.
If they pound Stanford on ESPN, that might be enough too to go. Oh, wait, we ranked them 13th to end last year.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty good. And they've overcome losing the quarterback. That could get them in before the East Carolina trip, because remember, there's a bye week.
Yeah, that's
so there's some time.
The other thing to consider is there is no game on September 13th.
Yeah.
So there are 4 weeks before BYU plays a Big 12 game. It might take a 4-0 start after all is said and done for BYU to finally hop in the top 25, but there is a shot if they're receiving votes.
You go over to Colorado and you beat Dion prime time on whatever channel it's going to be on, then you're in it to stay.
Oh, I'd be shocked that's not ESPN National.
Yeah.
As
Now
that
you're
8:15 kick.
contending.
Yes.
According to the top 20 voters. Now you're back in. You've overcome the whole summer. So we'll see.
Love this bold conversation. Okay, we're talking top 25. We're talking about a quarterback starting every game for the entire season. Here is bold prediction number 3.
Okay.
Whew. This is going to be tough to replicate. BYU will match their 22 combined interceptions on defense from last year.
That's potential crazy talk, but it's bold. It's bold.
I can't breathe. That is so hot.
12 different Cougars had picks last year. It's a result of a defense that creates chaos, and we've talked about it on this show quite a bit. If the defensive line is actually as good as they think it can be, and the linebacking core is better than they were last year, even just a little bit, then you have to think the recipe for the chaos is right there. And in the chaos is when these quarterbacks make bad decisions. Some of the best quarterbacks in the league threw multiple picks against BYU last year. Could that happen again? Well, sure it could. If you got a quarterback running for his life, he's capable of anything. And secondary's back with a lot of experience, especially in those safety spots. It would be crazy because we just hadn't seen that before. But all of a sudden, the guys who did it are all back for the most part. And then they've added some pieces, which might create more chaos at the defensive line spot. And then at least, you can't have a tornado without the forecast of all the ingredients in the air. All the ingredients are there.
22 interceptions is almost 2 per game.
Yeah.
That is a wild number.
It's a lot.
I'm looking at the 3 bold predictions we've laid out, and I'm thinking, is that actually more bold than considering that BYU could start the same quarterback for all of the games this season?
It's a bold segment.
Might be the boldest.
It's a bold segment.
Frankly, Dave, I'd settle for anywhere between 16 to 18. That'd be another fantastic number.
Yeah. The pressure's on the defense to do this, to offset the challenges on offense, or the perceived challenges, because we actually don't know what those challenges are going to be. We just perceive some with a new quarterback. But the defense is not new. When Will Ferrin goes out to kick, do you expect him to make it? Yeah. He's not new. This is what he does. So this is what the defense does.
Holding teams to under 20 points a game, it's a top 20 number in the country, but the 22 interceptions was best in all the land.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Number 1 in the NCAA.
And there were some crazy ones.
All right, let's move on.
Bold prediction number 4. BYU will have a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver this season.
Bold.
Now, last year they didn't have either, and they went 11-2. So the bold prediction is a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver.
Man.
So you're thinking Chase Roberts and you're thinking L.J. Morton.
Yeah. Naturally, because those are your 2 leading guys in their respective categories.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's still bold to say that BYU would even have one of these.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened since Tyler Algier did it as a rusher in 2021, and Dax Milne had over 1,000 yards receiving in 2020. Has it really been 4 and 5 years for a 1,000-yard rusher and receiver at BYU?
And those schedules that Algier and Milne dominated are not this schedule. They're not these defenses.
No, Tyler's is more like a Power 4 schedule that BYU faces because BYU did play, I want to say, 6 or 7 Power 5s in 2021.
Yeah.
So that one was more like it, but certainly Dax
But
Milne and
not 10.
Zach Wilson were not competing against the schedule anything close to
So
what
they were
BYU was
great
chasing
in
at.
their seasons. They were great. Can these two be that great in this season?
I don't think it's outlandish for LJ Martin, if he stays healthy, especially Dave, to eclipse the 1,000-yard rushing mark.
Yeah.
He's been banged up. He's missed multiple games, including last year. When he's been on the field and healthy, he has looked every bit the part of a 1,000-yard rusher. So can he play at least 11 games of the 13, including a bowl game this season? If he does, he will be a 1,000-yard rusher.
He ran angry against Colorado, which was awesome.
Indeed.
And as he's evolving into an angry runner like his coach, Harvey Unga, where you lower your shoulder and plow ahead, which we saw against the Buffaloes, that's the kind of guy that can get 1,000 yards. Got to stay healthy. Everyone does. He's changed his body in the offseason. When you see him in camp during our reports or on the 30th when he takes the field, you'll go, whoa.
Massive human being.
Yeah, get him the ball. And you just think like last year, I mean, he had a decent year last year, ran for 723 yards, but didn't even play coming out of the gate because he was hurt.
Yes.
And so he's not hurt. And he gets through camp and he comes out like a charging bull on opening day, then he's the new quarterback's best friend. Hey, give me 5 yards.
He got hurt early in that SMU game. BYU figured it out down in Dallas. Turned out to be one of their best wins of the season. But can BYU keep him healthy? That is the key there. And then will a new quarterback be able to develop enough of a rapport with a guy like Chase Roberts to target him enough, to give him enough opportunities to eclipse 1,000 yards receiving? That, to me, is the more bold of the two.
He had 854 last year. Can you get that much more with a new guy?
Exactly. That's a lot to ask. I don't know. He's a security blanket. I've said it several times on the show. If a new quarterback is in trouble and needs help, just find number 2.
Yeah.
Where is 2 on the field? Go make a play, Chase.
2 is my number 1. Get the ball to Roberts.
Okay. That, to me, is the more bold of those 2 right there. Okay, bold prediction number 5. BYU will be in contention to participate in the Big 12 Conference Championship football game the last week of the season, Dave. So going into the final week of the regular season, BYU will still have a legitimate shot to get to the title game.
That's bold. For that to happen, a couple of other bold things are going to need to happen. But, yeah, I mean, you look at the schedule, it's a favorable schedule. And things obviously have to go right. They have to go right for any team that's in contention in this league. Could they be a 2-loss team heading into that last weekend? Sure. Could they be better than that? They could be. Depends on what the defense is going to do and special teams. Again, the quarterback and Chase and LJ and all that stuff. Last year it all came together in all the areas but quarterback. Quarterback was just good enough to manage through. I mean, and it's no, Jake was picked in the middle of the pack of the quarterbacks in the Big 12, and his stats finished right there. But the rest of the stats from the rest of the team were elite. So that's again, those are the ingredients to get to the conference championship game. So most of them are there. Is it bold to say they could be back there? I think that's pretty good.
Let's remind everybody of the chaos that existed going into the final week of last season.
And it was a very cold final week.
There were 9 teams that had a mathematical chance of getting into the Big 12 title game with 1 regular season game to play. BYU in the mix at the top, along with Iowa State, Arizona State, and Colorado, who were all 6-2. And then you had Kansas State, Texas Tech, Baylor, TCU, and West Virginia, who were all 5-3. So if there is something similar this season, and I'm inclined to believe that there probably will be, Dave, how much parity dominates in this conference.
It's the beauty of being in a conference, right, that we missed for a long, long time, is we were one of the 9 teams.
Yeah.
And right up until the fourth quarter when Iowa State beat Kansas State, we were in it, controlled our own destiny.
Yes.
And then our destiny was to the Alamo Bowl.
Can BYU be one of the top 7 or 8 teams, meaning can they be 5-3 going into the final season? Because if a similar scenario like last year plays out, all you have to do is be 5-3 going into your 9th conference game and you have a shot.
If you got the best defense in the league, the best kicker in the league, the best punt returner in the league, yeah, you can be there.
You want to feel more comfortable? Obviously be 6-2. like BYU was last
And have
year.
a returning quarterback with experience. If you want to be more comfortable, that's that. But there are other teams with returning quarterbacks, and they've got to deal with the same demons, or they're not going to be in it. You know, so it's just good. If you got the best defense in the league, you have a little wiggle room.
Parity reigns supreme in the Big 12. Those are our 5 bold predictions
good.
on BYU Sports Nation. That's the way to do it July 21st, Dave.